Hey everybody, we're live. This is going to be the Android Headline Show number 101. Tonight is March 26th. I believe it's a Thursday. It sounds about right at 9:30. We're going to get this thing on the road. Tonight we have a bunch of stuff related to the Galaxy S6, S6 Edge, the One M9, the One M9 Plus. Alex took a little visit to Verizon, and then Google is going to help you pay your bills a little easier. So we'll jump right into things here. First thing we're going to talk about is the Galaxy S6 and S6 Edge pre-orders. So those are going to be starting mostly tomorrow. We have T-Mobile and AT&T. That's March 27th if you're keeping track of dates. They're going to be starting tomorrow. Basically, we got Verizon starting on April 1st, which is next Wednesday. Don't think that's an April Fool's joke, but you never know. Anything's possible. US Cellular and Sprint have not announced the exact dates. US Cellular will definitely be doing pre-orders. Sprint might be. We're not 100% clear on that, but they'll probably be announcing that pretty soon. If you go to Best Buy tomorrow, you'll be able to get a free wireless charger with your S6. So if you're, I think Best Buy just does AT&T, and then of course, I guess next Wednesday they'll probably do Verizon as well. As far as I know, T-Mobile still does not allow the other vendors to sell their stuff. So if you want the free wireless charger, you're gonna have to go with either AT&T, Verizon, or one of the other carriers that
Well,
Best Buy goes with.
they also do Sprint. I don't think they do Boost Mobile and Virgin Mobile though, because I know the S6 is going to those two as well.
Yeah, and they may very well do US Cellular, just depending on the region you're
Yeah,
in. And
because
then US Cellular is kind of more of a regional
yeah,
carrier, it seems like.
they're mostly in the Midwest, but they're not like this far north. I think they're in Chicago, but they're not here in Michigan. So I don't know if they're in Best Buy or not. They probably are.
Yeah, I know anytime I go to North Carolina, I always see US Cellular billboards everywhere. So I think it's just,
Yeah.
certain places around the US.
Yep.
Uh, and then, of course, we've got the One M9 pre-orders. You can talk about those.
Yep, the One M9 is actually going up for pre-order in about 2.5 hours from now. They're starting it at midnight tonight. Well, 12:01 to be exact. AT&T and T-Mobile are also starting. So it's AT&T, T-Mobile, and then HTC is selling it unlocked for $649. All three of those started at midnight. Sprint is also starting theirs tomorrow, but they haven't said if it starts at midnight or if it starts in the morning. So I'm gonna go with probably in the morning. It could be midnight because that's what seems like that's what HTC wanted. Um, the interesting thing though with Sprint is that they said it's available for shipment starting tomorrow. So it doesn't sound like it's for pre-order. It sounds like they're actually shipping it probably either tomorrow or on Monday. Verizon hasn't said a thing about the HTC One M9 other than that they were going to carry it, and that was back on March 1st. So I'm guessing, this is just a guess here, that they're going to release it after the S6 and the S6 Edge are all out the door. Because they're going to promote that a lot more than the One M9. And it's probably due to Samsung as well as how much Samsung will sell. Because Verizon wants a device that's going to sell, especially with their churn rate going up and up every quarter. Let's see what else. We haven't heard anything from Best Buy, I don't think. Amazon will probably see pre-orders starting up tomorrow as well. And US.
Yeah, and I don't think I mentioned the April 10th release date for the S6.
Yep, the S6.
That's supposed to be the official release date. So.
Yep, it is. They'll also be available in store tomorrow. The S6 and S6 Edge. All the carriers and Best Buy, I believe. Best Buy would probably be the better place to go anyway.
Yeah, probably. Well, and again, free wireless charger, so you might as well
Yeah.
if you're going to go with one of the carriers they do.
Unless you're like me and have a bunch of wireless chargers but no wireless charging devices. Well, the G Flex 2 is wireless charging, doesn't it?
Yes.
You want to talk about
Yeah, no, I just got my first wireless charger. I was going to pick up a little later, so we'll see how that thing goes.
I have one that I need to review, but I've been waiting to get a wireless charging device. I think the G Flex 2 has it, but I'm not 100% sure. You want to talk about that Beijing?
Yeah, I'd have to look it up.
Want to talk about the Beijing event for HTC?
Yeah. Sorry, my connection I think is really crappy tonight or something.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
So HTC is doing something interesting with the M9, or I guess rather I should say the M9 Plus. So we have the M9 coming out in a week or two, something like that. And the M9 Plus, they're going to be holding a conference specifically for it on April 8th. And that thing is going to be 5.2 Quad HD screen, if all the rumors are correct. From the leaked images we've seen, this is the one with the duo camera. So for a while, we saw a whole bunch of leaks for the M9, pointing to different sizes, different display types, if it has a home button or not, if it has a duo camera or not. There were basically just, it seemed like random things being thrown out there. So basically, it looks like what we got was you got the One M9, which is a more, I guess, traditional HTC flagship device, smaller 5-inch. Now you have the M9 Plus, which is more of a souped-up version in some ways. The duo camera, it's the same 20 megapixel sensor from the M9. And then I guess the duo camera up top, I don't think that one's finalized yet in terms of what we've been hearing, but it's probably the 2 megapixel from the M8, basically just to get that depth information so it can use the effects and those sorts of things. The really interesting thing with the design is it's got a home button. So HTC doesn't usually do this sort of thing. They've been very good about using software buttons or just a few capacitive buttons on the bottom. This time they're actually going to have a home button. It sits right in the middle of the bottom speaker, so it splits it up a little bit. So that'll be interesting to see what that does to the boom sound in that particular phone. And then of course it's got a fingerprint scanner in there. Hopefully the fingerprint scanner is not the swipe kind, because as I've learned from other phones that have the swipe kind, that's terrible. You might as well just not even bother with it. What's really also interesting about this one is the Snapdragon 810 powers the regular One M9. And this one is rumored to have a MediaTek 6795T, which is MediaTek's newest octa-core. It's also got a PowerVR Rogue G6200 for the GPU. So we're talking totally different internals for this versus the regular One M9. What'll be really interesting to see is if we have the performance issues that a few people have had with the One M9 and the overheating issues that we've heard about in some of the early reviews that have gone out. I know MediaTek hasn't really had those kinds of issues, whereas it seems like Qualcomm has with the 810. Or at least, again, rumored. Some people have had it, some people haven't. It seems to be kind of up in the air as to whether or not it's an actual issue.
Yeah, and you also have to remember where they're announcing this. They're announcing it in Beijing, so it's likely going to be an Asia thing.
Yeah.
And MediaTek is a lot bigger in Asia than Qualcomm is over in Asia. It's also cheaper.
Yes.
Because the M9 or even the S6, that's going to cost around equivalent to about $1,000 over in China, and they're not going to pay that kind of price, especially when you have Xiaomi at like $100 for pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. So I know the one that has been leaked is a China Mobile branded one.
Yeah. Yep.
So this may be like the butterfly, where we only see it over in Asia. It doesn't really get at least anywhere else.
And that's what I was going to say, is I wonder if they're replacing the butterfly and putting it into the 1 series, because while it's the M9 Plus, it's not that much bigger. It's only 0.2 inches bigger. When I heard Plus, I was thinking more of a phablet, like 5.7.
Yeah, like 5.5, 6 inch, whatever.
Like the One Max they came with 2013, I think is when it came out. Like that one was like 5.9 inches, but it was so huge because of the boom sound speakers. So that's what I was thinking.
And ironically enough, it had a fingerprint scanner.
Yeah, it was on the back, and that one, it wasn't too bad. It was just too close to the camera, so you kept touching the camera. Yeah. I think that one was a swipe too. I think. I'm not quite sure. It's been a while, and a lot of phones in between then and now.
Yeah, I know.
But what also makes me think that it might be replacing the butterfly is that the butterfly line always was more souped up than the One line. So if you look at like the original butterfly, which came here as the Droid DNA, it was more souped up than the One X was.
Yeah, it's true.
Butterfly 2 was more souped up than the one was. So that's just what I'm thinking. And man, I wish that would come over here. And if that's the MediaTek chip that I'm thinking of, it's supposed to support all bands all around the world. So if it's sold in China, it should support the U.S. At least that's what they told me.
Yeah, and performance-wise, it'll be really interesting to see because I know MediaTek has really been closing the gap in performance with a lot of the higher-end chipsets.
Yeah,
this is Quad HD.
They said their latest octa-core is right on par with the Snapdragon 810. Now,
That's probably this one then.
I haven't really used it other than hands-on at their booth at MWC, which I put a little salt with that because different things happen when you take it home and use it compared to what it's loaded up with for hands-on at a trade show like that.
Yeah, and how much time do you really get to use it there too?
Yeah, that too.
That was like that was how I felt about the G Flux as well. It's like, all right, this is cool. I get like 10, 15 minutes of this thing tops, but it's not. Yeah, that's not anywhere near review worthy or anything. It's just like, all right, this seems like a pretty sweet phone. That's about all I can say.
The M9 and the S6, I barely got any time with it, especially the S6 after impact. Took an hour just to even see the thing. But yeah,
I know. I think the only reason I got so much time with the G Flex is because they had it in so many different places at CES. Otherwise, I would have had the 5 minutes that I spent with it on the announcement floor.
Even at Mobile Congress, they had that thing everywhere in their booth. It was like then the Watch Urbane were like everywhere because other stuff they announced were the low end stuff, and there was like 2 or 3 of each of those phones, which they're actually really good for low end smartphones.
Yeah, it'll be good to see what they do with those, especially if they put their lollipop and all that stuff on there too.
Oh, it's already on there.
Yeah. Yes. I like their software in general. It's always been super fast. The way it looks now is much better than what was on the G2. So you have the speed. It looks a lot better, and then of course it's lollipop. So I'm pretty happy with it.
It's better, but I think I still like Sony's lollipop the best right now. Just the way they've done it, it looks so much like stock Android, but it still has all the Sony's, features and stuff in there. But anyways, let's get back on topic about Verizon's Switch facility, which
yes.
I got to go see in Southfield on Monday. This is one of, I don't know, probably hundreds of facilities they have across the country. There's 4 that are here in Michigan, and the one I went to covers Wayne and Oakland County. For those of you that probably don't know, Wayne County is where Detroit is, and Oakland County is more like higher middle class. They're just north of us. Basically, they handle all of the phone calls as well as data transmissions, I think is what they called it. Let me look up the exact numbers real quick, but I think it's something like 10 million phone calls.
Yeah, it was a lot. I remember reading what you were putting in there.
Man, it's a lot. It's like 10 million phone calls. I can't find it real quick.
And a lot of data too.
Yeah, and that's just 2 counties in Michigan. That's just think about the whole country and how many people are actually on Verizon. It's like 120 million customers, I think.
Yeah.
Or maybe a little more than that.
Yeah, it's a lot of people.
So basically what Verizon, why they invited us there, we were actually the only tech site invited because they invited a bunch of local media. So like our ABC affiliate was there, MLive was there. MLive is like all the Michigan newspapers, like Detroit Free Press, Detroit News. That's their site. They all work together for that site. So it was like that. They basically invited us there to, show us why Verizon is so reliable, and basically it's due to redundancies. So if severe weather hits or power outage hits, their network's not going to go down. And we saw that with that hurricane that hit the East Coast a couple years ago now, I think. They basically have a couple of rooms with really big batteries. Like the room is full of batteries. I don't know how many were in there, but there is a ton. And we only saw one room. He's like, the other one is just the same thing, just on the other side of the facility. The batteries are bigger than your car battery. So, and he said that will keep the site going for, I think, 8 hours. And if stuff doesn't get fixed by then, they have a couple of generators that are outside that'll keep the facility. Each one will keep the facility running for I think up to 6 to 8 months by itself without anything else. And they test that every Friday as well. I think every Friday. They said every week. So I mean, that's how they keep it so reliable. Is all the redundancies in case severe weather or power outages or anything like that happens. It was really nice to check out and see, how they keep the network running in cases like that. We're working with the other carriers to check out their switch facilities as well right now, because they don't think, or Verizon doesn't think their competitors have anything like what they have as far as keeping the network alive when power outages hit, etc. So it was a really nice thing to check out.
Yeah, I know I really enjoyed reading it too. It was really cool just seeing the pictures and how the facility looked. And I know, where I work, we run some microwave towers. And I know some of that stuff is sort of similar, like the battery backups you talked about. Every site
Yeah.
has a generator. It's sort of the same kind of setup, but obviously the place you're going to is a much bigger one than just a little microwave tower that we run.
Yeah.
So I definitely would be interested to see if any of the other carriers do something similar. I imagine they do, but I guess it just depends on the scale.
I'm guessing
Verizon's,
it's probably not, like as many levels as redundancy, because we do see, T-Mobile had an outage, I think, just yesterday on the East Coast. And Verizon, last time they had an outage was when LTE was brand new, I think.
yeah, I know I've had a few outages at T-Mobile here and there, depending on, just the day or whatever.
I don't
So
think
who
I've
knows?
had one really. And if I have, I probably didn't notice it because I'm always
It's
on Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've had any kind of issue in my area, but I know when they were first starting to roll out the LTE networks, I guess same kind of thing, just since it's such a major change, that sort
Yeah,
of thing just causes crazy hiccups.
yeah. I don't want to do cable management for them though.
Yeah, no,
I mean, they
I
have
can't even
one
imagine.
room. They have one room just for their LTE network, and then another one for their 3G and EVDO networks. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's good to keep that stuff separate.
Oh yeah, but man, it's tough. So
Yeah,
yeah,
so
that was Verizon.
nice.
I mean, probably not a whole lot that most people are going to care about, but it is nice to see how they keep it going. They
Yeah,
invested 100 million in their network in the past year alone, 2.5 billion in the Detroit area in the last 15 years, and that's just Detroit that just went bankrupt.
yeah, exactly.
We go bankrupt, cops get new cars. All works out.
That's how it goes. So, speaking of paying the bills, we got Gmail Pony Express, which is, I guess that was leaked, if you will. I don't even think it's past rumored at this point. I think it's just straight up leaked. It's basically a new service that Google looks to be starting to let you pay your bills straight from Gmail. So right now, Google sort of started this a little while ago where they give you bill reminders in Google Now. So Google now pulls this information from your Gmail, from whatever else, whatever other sources that they pull everything else from. And it basically gives you a little reminder in Google Now, says, hey, your phone bill is due today, make sure you pay, kind of thing. This is going to take that one step further, and I guess they'll basically provide a little link in Google Now, something to that extent. You click the button, it opens up the Gmail app, and it straight up looks like a paper letter with a stamp on it and all that cool little stuff. It's got a nice little graphic, and you can pay it straight from the Gmail app. So you don't have to go to your phone company's website, your power company's website, all the other stuff. They're going to try to integrate all of this into Gmail. So it's literally just, all right, bills due, click pay, all set. Don't have to remember all these different logins and all this other info. You can store all of your cards, your bank information, all that stuff, which you probably already have your cards with Google anyway if you use the Play Store or Google Wallet or any of their other payment services. So it's just another way that Google is integrating everything together. It's kind of been a slow roll here with a lot of this stuff, but we're finally getting to the point now where a lot of Google services are really talking to each other. It's making really nice, especially with them all working through Google Now. And now that they've really opened up Google now to other apps, so that other developers can put their notifications in there and put other things in there. It's really sort of the one-stop shop for your daily stuff. You go on your phone, look at Google now, you have almost everything in there at this point. So it's definitely interesting to see. More than likely this will be invite only at first, just like how Inbox is right now, just like how they like to do a lot of their beta products. So we'll see if and when that launches. I mean, I imagine it'll be public maybe at some point this year. And they might even announce it at I/O too. So
I think Recode report said that it'll be sometime next year, but I'm guessing they'll probably announce it at I/O. Like, here's what we're working on, something like that. I don't know if we'll be able to use it this year, but according to Recode, they said sometime in 2016. So, and when you get a report from them, it's generally pretty much true. It's not like getting something from DigiTimes or somebody like that.
Yeah, so 2016 will be a pretty big year for Google, especially if they get Project Era up and running, and then they do a lot of different services type stuff like this. We'll have yet another huge year for them.
I think every year is a huge year.
Well, yeah, it certainly does. I mean, Google's so big.
Yeah.
It seems like there's just always something crazy they're working on that they just kind of drop on us. So, have any other small little things you can think of that we didn't put on the agenda?
I don't think. Well, the G Flex 2 is at US Cellular now.
Yeah. Right.
I thought about that because I just picked up the G Flex 2.
Yes.
I don't think there's really anything else.
I know for me, Oxygen OS for the OnePlus One is supposed to go live tomorrow.
It's not.
No?
It got delayed.
No. When did that happen?
Today. Or actually
come on.
yesterday.
I literally saw this morning that it was supposed to go out. That friggin' sucks. So maybe we'll get CM12S final
they
in
promised,
a couple of days like we were supposed to.
They promised for March 27th, but they were saying on their AMA, I think it was last night or early this morning, basically it's stuck in certification, and it has to go through Google certification.
That sucks.
So it's actually Google's fault. but now you know why people don't like to put out ETAs for updates.
Yes. Yeah, I know. It's never really a good idea. I was just really getting excited for a really awesome update for me. Gosh, there was one other thing that I was going to say. I should have written it down. Crap. Well, if I remember while we're talking about what's new in your Android world stuff, I'll spout it out. So I guess we'll start with you tonight. You got some new stuff for us?
I have a banana phone here.
Oh, excellent.
Red,
it's not yellow, though.
Red LG G Flex 2. Well, obviously it's a Sprint model because US Cellular isn't available here, and AT&T has said nothing about when they're going to start selling theirs. I haven't used it much. It came in today, and there's a few other reviews ahead of it in line right now. So far, Snapdragon 810 doesn't seem to be overheating for me. Man, there's a lot of pre-installed stuff on here. Especially from Sprint. Sprint usually doesn't put a whole lot of stuff on here. Let's see, Sprint Fun.
Sprint's usually pretty good about that.
Sprint Fun and Games, Sprint Zone, Friendly Welfare Sprint, Scout. I think Spotify is also theirs because they give you, I think, a discount. I think it's like $4.99 for Spotify, which is the student price actually. Sprint Family Locator, Sprint Money Express, Sprint Music Plus, Sprint TV and Movies, Sprint Worldwide. Uber, I'm not sure who that's from. I'm not sure if that's LG or Sprint. Lookout is Sprint, I know that. Man, that's a lot. Sprint is usually like 1 or 2. It's kind of surprising. But yeah, LG G Flex 2 is here, so we're going to be working on that review. As far as other stuff, I don't think I have anything else. I do have a Chromebook 15 coming. I think on Monday. This one will be here.
Nice.
It's actually the Core i5 model. It's the newer one, the C910. So it's the more powerful one.
Beautiful.
And it's in black. The black one looks so much slicker. Yeah, that's all I've got.
All right. Well, I get to trade with you. I think last week I only had one thing and you had a bunch. So let's see. We'll start with the smaller things. First was that wireless charger. So it's funny because I actually don't know who sent me these. So if anybody out there wants to claim these, that'd be great. I got an iPhone case, which I'll give to my brother-in-law. Got a magnetic charging pad that goes with it, so I'm sure he'll enjoy that when I'm done reviewing it. And then I got a separate. It's a magnetic portable battery. So this is a portable wireless charger, which is awesome because you literally need no wires. You stick it in your backpack, put it on a table, stick your phone on it, you're done. It's got wireless charging. It seems like it'll be pretty much good. So I haven't opened those yet, but I'll get those reviewed after I get a couple of other things out of the way. I'm like you. I got a queue at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Braven sent me this really awesome little speaker. This is the Lux. You can probably see from the pattern it looks a little more feminine than they usually make, I suppose. They usually make a little more tough-looking products, so this is their first, I think, feminine, I don't know, whatever line.
They announced like 15 things at CES.
Yes, they did. They had literally the entire booth was new stuff. It was ridiculous. There was so many
It was
things.
like every day at CES they have 5 more press releases they're sending. It's like,
it was
save
crazy.
some for like MWC or something.
Yeah, right.
The rest of the year.
Exactly. So I have never used a Braven speaker before. I know you like them. I've heard good things about them. The sound on this thing is absolutely nuts. Like, I turned it on last night, and it's got a nice little turn-on sound. It's really deep bass in the turn-on sound. So right off the bat, you're like, "Holy crap! This is a Bluetooth speaker."
Oh yeah.
And it's literally so loud I can hear it outside of my house when I have it on.
Yeah.
And it's clear too. It's not loud and distorted. It's loud and really nice.
Yeah, Braven does some good stuff, and it's like their stuff is all metal. Well, the sides are like the soft touch plastic, because that's where the buttons are usually. Yeah. I have the BRV-X still, which is it's got a big power bank inside, but it's also super tough. I mean, you can literally run it over. It bounces off the ground when you drop it.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, this has the power bank in it too, but it's not. It's definitely not durable. It's plastic on the outside.
They were also the first one that I've ever used that had NFC. Not saying they're the first one to ever use NFC, but first one I used that had NFC.
Yes,
which is a big deal as well.
Now, I don't think this one has NFC. It doesn't have any obvious logos on it, and I literally took the phone and went like this on it last night.
Yeah, they
before I tried the Bluetooth pair with it.
They usually have the logo of where it is, kind of like Sony does on the Z3. Like it's up toward the top up there, which I really like from Sony.
Yeah. I know my Samsung Bluetooth speaker has a little NFC logo in the corner too, and that's where it is. So yeah, I don't see it anywhere. I don't think this has that, but honestly, everything else.
I think some of their cheaper stuff doesn't. I mean, say cheaper, it's still pretty expensive. That one's what, like 150, I think, or something like that.
I thought this one was more like 90.
I know.
I don't know. I'll have to look it up again.
I know there's stuff.
I'll have to look it up again. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I'll put it in the review when I'm done with it. And then I also have not one but 2 Eliphones. So the first one is the G1. This is by today's standards, teeny little phone. It's also $50. So this Bluetooth speaker actually costs more than the phone, if you can wrap your head around that. It seems a bit ridiculous to me, but that's how it goes. I've used the thing for about a day now. I'm not reviewing it yet. I'll be reviewing it after this next one. But so far, it definitely does not feel like a $50 phone. It's a little on the slow side, so you're not going to be zipping through apps and multitasking like a beast on this thing. But for $50, I wouldn't really want to think that you'd need to. I think the most important thing is, unlike other phones that I've reviewed that are under $80, this thing does not feel like a piece of crap. The touchscreen actually works. The speakers actually produce audible sound that isn't distorted. The camera is actually decent, and you can actually play games on it. So, I mean, so far, I really have very little negative to say about it, especially given the price. The other one I got is the Elephone P5000. This is a little bit bigger phone. It's more of a flagship model. It's got a 16 megapixel camera. It's got a physical home button, and the physical home button has one of the swipe fingerprint sensors in it. This is what I was talking about earlier when I said I hate them because it sucks.
I knew that from the S5.
Yeah, dude, the swipe. I know I've used the swipe ones before. They're all terrible. This is absolutely no exception. I think they should just stop using the swipe ones. When you
I
have to
think it was
set it
to
up,
get away from Apple trying to sue them.
it's just so frustrating. I'm like, just don't even use it at all. It just doesn't work. Like when you have to set it up, it wants you to do it 7 times and have 7 successful reads. It literally took me like 30 swipes to get a correct one. Like, and I've used an S5 too, and the S5 is just as bad. It's terrible. I can't tell you how many people I see with their S5s going like this, like 4 times before it finally unlocks. I'm like, just please don't use these. They're bad. Um, Other than that, I don't know. It's not bad. I have to look up the price of the phone because I can't remember it off the top of my head. I want to say it's around $200, which I would rather get the Mizu M1 Note if that's the case. That's only like $20 more, and it's a way better feeling phone. But
I'd rather get the Moto E
yeah, I guess that's true too. I
because
don't know.
of the
I
LTE.
like. Yeah, I'd have to use the Moto E, but I really liked the camera on the M1 Note, and for me that's more important than almost anything else on the phone.
The
So
camera on the Moto G was, I don't know. Some people say it's better than the Moto X. They looked about the same to me, but the Moto E camera was, man, it was just garbage. But
yeah,
it is like $150 with LTE, a Snapdragon 410. So get what you pay for, I guess.
yeah. So I've been using this one for the past couple of days, just as my main phone. So I'll definitely have a review out on this. If not this weekend, then maybe shortly after. So far it's not bad. These are the first Ella phones I've ever had. I think that's it for me. I don't think I have anything else.
I forgot I have like one of 300 S6 cases here.
Oh yes.
I have like a box full of them. I can't get to them right now, but Scipio, Varus, and Spec all sent me boxes and boxes of cases for the
Beautiful.
S6. So there's gonna be lots of giveaways after I get an S6 to review all this stuff.
Yeah, that's
S6
definitely,
Edge as well. So
yeah, of course.
yeah, I have like literally an entire box full of like big box full of it.
Yeah, and
Crazy.
the S6 Edge is Samsung supposedly ramping up the production for those too. So it
Yeah.
seems like there's a lot more demand than they had initially planned for.
Oh yeah, everybody's wanting the S6 Edge even more than the S6. I was kind of
I don't
surprised at
blame
it
them.
first. But I've told
Yeah, I
everybody,
mean, if
go to Best Buy and check it out first before you buy it. Because you may
yeah,
decide you don't want it. And, you
yeah,
only get 14 days to return it.
yeah, exactly. And I know if I were in the market for an S6, I would pick the Edge too if I felt like spending that much money on a phone. But yeah, I don't know. It's a really cool, unique design. Even if it doesn't serve a lot of purpose, I don't even care. It just looks cool.
Only thing I'm worried about with the S6 and S6 Edge is because it's Samsung's first time with using a glass back.
Yeah.
Sony was pretty bad with glass backs until I think the Z2.
Yeah.
Because the Z3 is pretty good. I mean, I've had this one for I don't know how long now. I think I got it in January. And I mean, there's scratches on the back, obviously, because I don't have a case and it's sliced in and out of my pocket all the time. But
Yep.
it's not anywhere near as bad as the Z1 was. That thing was so bad. So
Yeah.
that's the only thing I'm worried about with the S6 and S6 Edge. Hopefully they prove me wrong. I hope they do. But that's just what I'm worried about.
Yep.
One thing we did forget to talk about, cyanogen and blue.
Oh yes.
I wasn't sure if you knew about it.
I read a little bit about it, but not enough to talk about it. Sorry.
Yes, Cyanogen and Blue are working on a smartphone without Google. So it's going to be an Android-powered smartphone, but no Google apps. Basically, think Kindle Fire or even Fire Phone, but Cyanogen on there. Basically, Cyanogen CEO Kurt McMaster, he spits out all kinds of quotes that make you turn your head and give good clickbait titles. He basically said they're going to put a bullet through Google's head or something like that.
Yes. Yep.
They're talking about how Google's apps are slow, and you can't just talk to your phone until to play a certain song in Spotify instead of Google Play Music when you can. Um, Basically, they're going to be using Spotify for Google Play Music, Bing for Google Search. Good luck with that. Um, I think Skype in place of Hangouts, probably. I can't think of the other ones offhand, but I just hope it's like a high-end phone from Blue, because they do make some high-end stuff that's pretty good. The other thing that I've noticed with Blue, this has happened on both T-Mobile and AT&T, is their like their voice coverage or signal is really bad. It'll show that it's full signal, but it always drops calls, and it only happens on Blue phones. Because if you put that same SIM into another phone like from Motorola, no drop calls. And it's happened on more than one Blue phone, so that's how I know it's not just that one phone. So
Yeah.
hopefully that's not an issue here. Hopefully it's just a software thing that can be fixed. But that's the only thing I'm worried about is, if it's a low-end phone like the Studio 5C that I have up there, which is pretty much crap. But it was like $75, so.
That's going to be interesting to see, especially for the App Store. Like, what are they going to use for an App Store? Amazon's?
Their own.
Or they got their own planning too?
Well, they were planning on their own, but that was mostly
Yeah.
for China at first, because Google Play's
Yes.
not in China, and they don't want to use a competitor's app store for
Yep, makes no sense.
obvious reasons. So that's what Steve Condick told me when I was talking with them. Was it earlier this month? Yeah, MWC
Yeah.
was still this month. Wow.
Yeah. Long month.
I'm actually more interested in the Hero 3 Plus from Alcatel with Cyanogen.
Yeah.
That phone is nice. I got to check that out at Mobile Congress. Has stylus as well, so I'm interested to see what they do with that stylus.
Yeah, definitely. I really wish Cyanogen would play nicer with Google. I don't like this feuding thing going on. But
Yeah,
what are you going to do?
that's
We'll
what
see
I
how
thought.
it goes. I have no confidence in it, but they could surprise me.
The thing is, we use so many Google services, just for
Yeah.
Android headlines that we use Google everything. We use Google
I don't want to give up Google services. I don't care that they store my data. Who gives a crap? I really don't care. I know some people are freaky about that. It bothers them a lot.
Name a company
bother
that
me.
doesn't take your data.
That's what I'm saying. And like, you can look up anything on public records. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't care. It's not like they're passing out your stuff all over the place. It's.
No, that's Radio Shack. They're selling your data because they're bankrupt.
Yeah, there you go.
That's crazy. Yeah, I think that's probably about it for this week.
Yep, that works. All right, so we're gonna wrap that up. You guys can check us out on all the social networks. Look for Android Headlines or Android Headline without the S. We'll be on the podcast later. We'll have it on audio. We'll have it on YouTube right after the show. So check us out. Have a good night, man.
See you guys next week.
Later.